Hey everybody, it's Judy Klock here at Stampin' with Crafty Klock here in Middletown, Virginia. I'm back from the incentive trip. It was an incredible time. Stampin' Up spoiled us rotten, and just so you know, it took a lot of work to get there, and less than 1% of all demonstrators worldwide earned the trip. So I feel very blessed to have earned my very first incentive trip. Today I'm back. I'm going to share with you one of my favorite fun folds. I call it the double box fun fold. So I'm going to switch it out and show you my cameras. And I'm also going to be featuring the June product of the month, which is the adorable Wild Bunch stamp set. So let's go ahead and switch our cameras so that you can see what I'm talking about. All right, there we go. So this is the adorable Wild Bunch stamp set. It is the June product of the month. You can get this for just $5 with a $75 purchase. And it's got the cow, the snail, the koala, the penguin, a couple of little sentiments, some filler stamps. It's really very adorable. And today we're going to make what I call the double box fun fold. It's got, looks like two boxes. This is kind of a faux box when you put it on, but you'll see what I mean in a minute. And it does fold up to 5.5 by 4.25. So you actually can put it in the mail. You can write something on the back, send it off, slip it in the envelope, and send it off. This is a great little easy card to make. All of the full measurements are on the inspiration sheet, which is available to subscribers in my Crafty Klock Inspiration Vault on my website. There's over 20 tutorials in there linked to the videos. It's a special thing just for my subscribers. They can get my video tutorials are always free. The project sheet with all the measurements and all of the details on how to do the cards are for my subscribers. So let's go ahead and take a look. And by the way, this is $5 with a $75 purchase. And today, June 11th through June 13th, 2026, Stampin' Up is having free shipping on all orders of $75 or more. So not only can you take advantage of free shipping, but you can also order your product of the month when you go ahead and place that order. I will go ahead and leave the shopping link down below in the description. Let's go ahead and get started. And I've already done some of the work. So we've got our card base here, and we want to make sure I've got stuff I don't even need here. And I just dropped stuff on the floor, of course, because I always do. So let me see if I can pick that up. All right. So we're going to make sure that we get all of our score lines with nice, crisp creases. We're going to take our bone folder, and we're just going to burnish each of these score lines. All right. And then we're going to take our designer series paper, and we're going to put that on the top half of our card. Now, understand it doesn't have to go all the way down, because when we fold this up and magic happens, that will be covered. So we really just need to have, sort of a little bit more than the top half of the card covered with our designer series paper. And again, you can use whichever side you like. I kind of liked the dotted side for the main piece, and I'll use the reverse on the second box. Try to get this right. Okay. Making sure we get this right. Okay. Now, before I put on my other piece, I'm going to put a piece of tear and tape along this little 1/2 inch section here. Okay. So we're going to put our tear and tape there. Right. And I'm going to use my take your pick tool to remove that. Now you can use liquid glue. You can use Stampin' Seal. I like tear and tape for this particular part. Now there's the first score line, the second score line. I'm going to fold it at the second score line. I'm going to fold this down so that it's in, and I'm going to press to adhere that. And there is the first box. Now the reason I did that was because I want to put on the second piece of designer series paper. And I want to do it so I can sort of line up the edges. So I'm going to use, again, some liquid glue on this. And you'll see what I mean about lining up the edges in a minute. So I'm going to put this down, and I'm going to make sure that the left and right edges sort of align with the piece that's on top. It's not going to be perfect, that's okay, but it will be close enough. All right, now that's our first box is done. Now we've got a second piece of cardstock here. Again, we're going to burnish all of our score lines to make sure we get nice crisp creases. And again, I am going to put, this is where it gets a little confusing. I'm going to put some, this is the back piece. I'm going to put some tear and tape down here. You can do tear and tape, Stampin' Seal, liquid glue, but you need to put that on the bottom and the back of the bottom back. Then we're going to take this little 1/2 inch strip and we're going to fold it so that the front is now facing the back, and we're going to add our tear and tape. Okay. All right, I'm going to, again, use liquid glue, use Stampin' Seal, use whatever adhesive you prefer. Now I'm going to remove the tape. Okay. And now to put this onto my card, I am going to fold the card at the 5.5 inch mark. Okay, so that's what it would look like when you were mailing it and folding it flat. I'm going to fold it at the 5.5 inch mark. I'm going to fold this one down at the second score line so that both of my adhesives are showing, and then I am going to place it. You want to place it so that it's not about maybe 1/2 inch from the top. Okay, and sort of equally distant from side to side. Okay, and we're just going to press that down. And there we have our second box. Now I'm going to add a piece of designer series paper, and you'll see I'm using the reverse side of my dotted pattern. So I'm going to use both sides of this particular designer series paper. Use whatever you want. I think this is called like Everyday Essentials from the catalog. All right, we're going to put that there. I like to have that little extra time. All right, so that is essentially the card base. Okay, we've got that. Now let's do some stamping and get this show on the road, as they say. All right, so this is going to be the piece that goes on the back of the card. Okay, so I'm going to stamp here from the Wild Bunch stamp set. I picked out the little present stamp, and I'm going to stamp that right here. I'm using Early Espresso. I'm going to stamp that in the lower right. Totally optional. You don't have to do this. I like doing it. And then I'm going to use my Shimmer Pens in Hydrangea Hue and Peaceful Pine. And I'm just going to color like every other stripe with the Shimmer Pens. And this is just going to add just a little bit of color, a little pop of color on the back of this card. And it just looks fun. I think it looks fun. You may not think it looks fun, but I do. So I'm going to add this here. Okay, we've got that. Just a little bit. It just takes a little bit. Again, it comes out pretty good. You don't have to press too hard. And now we're going to adhere this to the back of our card. And that's going to give us the space to write a note to whomever we send this to. So it's a great little birthday card. There we go. Okay. There we go. That's the back of the card, all done. Finished, all done. Now let's do the front. So I'm going to take a piece of our basic white, and I'm going to stamp our little cow in, again, the Early Espresso. I didn't want to do the black. I thought the black was just a little too stark looking. So I did the early espresso. And then we're going to color him in. I'm going to use the dark and light pecan pie Stampin' Blends and the crumb cake Stampin' Blends. Now I'm not going to color the whole cow because that would take a lot of time because it's a big image. But I'm going to show you. So I colored his hair, his ears, and his tail in the dark pecan pie. Okay, so that is just the dark pecan pie. Then I used the dark crumb cake and I colored, I'm assuming these are horns. I don't know. I think that's what they are. And then I colored like his snoot in this. And then I did the rest of the body in the light pecan pie. When it was all done, I punched it with a circle punch, and that is what we have. So now I also want to give him a party hat because it's a birthday card. So we're going to stamp our little birthday hat. And I love this because you can use these little bits and bobbles of cardstock there because we're going to end up fussy cutting it. So I stamped this. I still use Memento Tuxedo Black. I can't really say that I'm a fan of the hybrid. I don't really like the hybrid ink. I'm going to, again, take out my blue shimmer pen and I'm going to color in my party hat with the blue shimmer pen. Okay. There we go. I'm going to make it a little bit more than I need because I'm going to cut off some. It's okay. It's okay to have a little bit more. Now, I'm going to cut that out. If I can find my paper snips that I just had. There they go. I put them away. Oh, that's not them. That's not them. Where'd they go? Here they are. Okay. The blade on that other one was just a little too big for doing fussy cutting. So I'm going to cut this across the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to simply cut it out. This is a pretty easy shape to fussy cut because we're just kind of go around the pom-pom here. I'm not going to be too crazy with trying to go in and out of all those lines a little bit, but not too much. Because it's all just about, and you could always fill in any white space with the shimmer brush again to kind of cover that up if you don't like how it turned out. Okay, let me just go here. Let me get rid of this for a minute. All right, I am going to try to cut a little bit more out of here. I couldn't do it with that whole big piece there. Okay. Now I'm going to glue this at a jaunty little angle on his head. And I think I want to just trim this, make this a little round. So I'm going to kind of come up and make that a little round so that we can sit it right there on our cow. Okay, so I'm going to add a little glue just to the hat part because the pom-pom is actually going to hang off and end up with a Stampin' Dimensional on it. I have a lot of glue on there. Let's take some off. All right, we're going to put this on there. So now he's ready. He's ready to party. Stick him down a little bit more. All right, now we're going to add some dimensionals to him. I'm going to add a mini to the hat because it's a little tiny spot. Oh, this one looks like it's already coming undone. All right, we got that. My fingers are sticking to it. Now I've got some edge pieces here. I'm just going to go ahead and use these edge pieces because these are perfectly fine. I'm going to add these to the back of our circle. Don't throw out your edge pieces. They're still good. You can still use edge pieces. They work just fine. Let me take off the coverings. I can never find my pick tool. Oh, there, it's right there when I need it. I was going to say, I can never find it when I need it. It's sitting right above my scissors on my desk. Well, some days you just aren't always paying attention. I can't tell if that's off. I think that's off. Okay. Stuck to my fingers. All right, we're going to go ahead and add our little cow here. we're going to stamp happy birthday in early espresso. If I can find my stamp pad, which I just put somewhere. Got it. All right. I've got the happy birthday from the Wild Bunch stamp set. I'm just going to stamp our happy birthday. Okay. I want to flag the end. So again, I'm going to take my paper snips. I'm going to cut off a little bit. These little paper scraps, they're good. Don't get rid of them. You can use them for tiny sentiments. I'm going to cut a slit about halfway in the middle of that, and then I'm going to cut from the corner up to that slit and cut from the corner. And that is how you make a perfect flag. Now you could pop this up on dimensionals. You could lay it flat, whatever you want to do. I think we'll pop this up on dimensionals. I laid it flat on my sample card, and I didn't really like how it turned out. So this one I'm going to pop up. I love me some dimensionals. Who loves dimensionals? Leave me a comment. If you are a dimensionals guy or gal, let me know. I love them. All right, I'm going to fold this down. I'm going to put this here. Now, he looks lonely, so I wanted to give him some friends. So I took our in-color butterflies, and we're going to give him some friends because everybody should have friends, right? So we're going to give him a little green one here. And then we're going to give him maybe a white one up here. All right, and then we'll give him another little white one over here. Let's turn it this way. Okay, and the last thing I want to do is, which I forgot to do, I want to add some green polka dots to that hat. So I'm going to take the Peaceful Pine Stampin' Blends. I'm going to use the pencil tip, and I'm just going to add some green dots to his hat to make it a real party hat. And that is as easy as it is to create the double box card. It's got the two boxes. It folds flat. It's a standard 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 when you're done. You've got a whole piece of white on the back. For those of you that sell cards, if you're worried, you can put your stamp either here or anywhere else you want on the card. And that is one version of the box card. Let's look at some additional variations. Let me just put some stuff away. Otherwise, there's too much junk on the desk. Let's just get this area cleaned up just a bit. All right, so that was one. We had the little Highland cow from the Wild Bunch stamp set. Here's another one from the Wild Bunch stamp set using that snail. This one I fussy cut. I didn't put him on a circle. I just fussy cut him out. Again, same idea. Double boxes. The 2 designer series paper. So that's all of them. Here's another one. Now this one I used. This was the May product of the month. It was that beautiful vellum. And it's very hard to see. But I flipped this over and I used the stylus. You can either use the one that comes with the take your pick tool or the one that comes from the scoring table. And I used the Stampin' Pierce mat. I used the Stampin' Pierce mat and the stylus, and I kind of went around the edges of the flowers to give it a little bit of a raised look. It's very hard to see on the video, but I did that, and you can see it gives a little bit of depth and dimension to the flowers so they're not just completely flat. And then last, I used one of our masks. I forget what it's called. What is it called? I think it's like dotted lines and waves. I put the waves mask over here and did the water in the balmy blue. So I didn't have any designer series paper. I just used that mask to kind of create the waves. And then I cut up a piece of that Sunset Coast iridescent paper to decorate the front. I die cut a little sailboat. And then again, I stamped right on the cardstock, right over that blue masking, wherever this note finds you. I hope it finds you happy. So those are just some different variations that you can make using this same basic design. So, like I said, I love that once you understand sort of the basic mechanism, you can take these and change them up and use them in a variety of ways. It doesn't always have to be exactly. You need the card base and this little piece to be exact, but then you can change it up. You can change your focal point. You can use designer series paper. You cannot use designer series paper. It's whatever you want to do. You could put an embossed piece here. Again, it's your card, your creation. Make it your own, but just take these measurements and use them, and then just use these measurements with what you have in your stash. That's it for me, everybody. I hope that you like this one. I hope you'll give it a try. It's very easy. It looks very impressive, but truly, I promise you, it is so easy to do. Again, measurements and the full inspiration sheet is inside the Crafty Klock Inspiration Vault on my stampinwithcraftyclock.com website, and you can subscribe. It's a monthly fee of $9, and you get access to all of the past and all of the future inspiration sheets as long as you stay a member. If you have any questions, just leave them down below and let me know which version of this was your favorite. Was it the snail, the cow, the flowers, or the sunset? I'll see you all next week. Bye.